actually did not know that I was going to be writing kids' books. I fell in love with reading when, I think when I was 8 years old, my family moved to a new town and I had no friends and didn't like where we were living and just read all the time and sort of found my escape in books and found I felt like books really saved me in a way. And it took me a long time to get my first book published. I actually was working full time during the day and writing at night and was a ghostwriter for a time. It took me 4 years and 3 unpublished novels before I got a book deal to write this first book with Simon & Schuster. So not everything I write gets published, and maybe this book will get published. It's still with a few people, but life of a writer, I found it involves just a lot of rejection. Dealing with the rejection, I'm used to it. I've been doing this for 20 years and I know it just involves a lot of rejection. I'm very lucky now because when I was starting out, I didn't know any writers, and now I have like 100 friends who are writers, and probably 10 of them are really close friends, and they all go through this and they all get rejected a lot, and some of them get published and they're disappointed with how the book does or with the rollout, or people don't get it or don't buy it. So, on multiple levels, it's a big ego blow, but I have friends to share that with, and I know it's a common experience. So that certainly helps a lot. I'll write maybe 3 to 6 chapters and a summary of a book. So I'll go, 30 pages, and my agent will send it out to 12 editors. And if I'm lucky, 2 or 3 will be interested. And then I talk to them. And no matter what, you write the book that you think is a perfect book, you turn it in, your editor, within 6 weeks sends it back to you with a letter that starts, this is brilliant, I love it, we're so excited to publish this, and then here are 10 pages of notes on how you need to make it better and rewrite it. So that's like the editorial process. You go back and forth a lot, and it's really, really important to get the right person. And if you're lucky, you'll get a choice of 2 or 3, and you can talk to them, and you just kind of have a sense, you just kind of know. You talk to them about the book, about your writing, what they think, their ideas, and, whoever you agree with the most, that's who you want to go with. It's exhausting and it's boring, and I get distracted these days, and I'm online a lot, just wasting time, looking at sweaters that I don't need, or, especially the news, it's a lot of the news these days, but it's some junky stuff too. But feel like when I have a good writing day, it feels really, really good. Sometimes I'll set small goals for myself. I'm up to 1,000 words a day, but I didn't start there. But if you could write 300 words a day, that's a really, really great goal to start with. And then, maybe work up to 500 and then 1,000. And on days that I'm on, when I have a book contract, that's my favorite thing, because I could go to the calendar and say, okay, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day. That's 5,000 words a week. And I have a goal and I know what I need to do. And I actually never, even though it's in my calendar, 5,000 words a week, I actually never have a day where I write 5,000, a week where I meet that goal. But I go through the calendar and I say like, okay, this week is catch up week. So, I will, make this other goal. Basically, I just like having a deadline, and small goals are helpful. I have a lot of books with a lot of different characters, and I really have to get to know the character. It's funny, this mystery that I've been writing where there's a dead body on page 5, I kind of have the plot and the setting, and I've been stuck for like a month and I wasn't sure where to go. And I had these 2 characters who weren't even major characters, but I realized I didn't know them at all. And as I started writing about these characters, I came up with all these other ideas that really fit into the entire story. But I realized I had to go out and like write down each character and take like a page of notes on each of them and say like, what does this character want? Like, what are they doing here? Who are they? Really, what do they want? Like, what's driving them for the story? And I'm in the middle of doing that now. And even just as I'm doing that, I'm coming up with all these other ideas. So I think like knowing your characters is really important, and that helps you establish voice and everything. I like writing clear and simple sentences, and when someone's like pretentious and uses big words that they don't really necessarily know, or that most people don't know, I don't think that's what writing is about. It's really about voice and getting the words out, and creating something that resonates. So I would not worry about that at all. So I feel like everyone has a story to tell and something to write, and intelligence actually doesn't have anything to do with it. I know some really smart people who went to a lot of fancy schools and they can't write. So there's something else about writing. And part of it's wanting to be a writer. reading a lot and just like believing in your story and telling it and working on it.